At Northwestern Mutual Southern Wisconsin, they believe better conversations lead to better outcomes. They focus on a holistic financial planning process that starts with where you are right now. They design solutions that fit your specific goals and priorities and that can evolve over time. Wherever you are today, no matter what's next, they'll develop customized recommendations designed to fit your life. Visit their website or call them today. Northwestern Mutual Southern Wisconsin, a better way to money. Head north to a place with deep roots and deeper lakes, where you can speed through a frozen wonderland or glide on a quiet river, where it's so dark you can see the galaxy, the northern lights, and your future all at the same time. It's a place synonymous with up north and north woods, a vacation you'll never forget. One word, one place, Minocqua. Plan your getaway today at minocqua.org. Today on CityCast Madison. It's Thursday, so of course we're dishing on Madison's food scene. One of Madison's most cherished donut makers, Level 5 Donuts, is leveling up. After growing a cult following over the past 5 years, vending at festivals and local coffee shops, the vegan donut outfit just opened its own brick-and-mortar storefront on Atwood Ave this week. To learn what this change means for the business and what kind of fun sweets we can expect in the future, we sat down with Level 5 Donuts head baker and co-owner Caitlin Rocky. Speaking of sweets, this episode was sponsored by Eat Street. All this week, get 10% off your Eat Street orders using the code MOM2025. That's MOM2025 in honor of Mother's Day. That's 10% off through May 11th, so go order something sweet for mom or just treat yourself. It's Thursday, May 8th. I'm Bianca Martin, and here's what Madison's talking about. Caitlin, welcome to CityCast Madison.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for reaching out.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. And you're joining us from your bakery, so I get a little sneak peek in the background. Feels very fun.
Tried to hide in the corner. There's not actually donuts on the speed rack behind me, but there's plenty in the shop, so...
Well, I've certainly had your donuts, and I've seen them, and they're on my mind. You and your husband have been making a splash around town with your Level 5 donuts over the last few years. I used to live around the East Johnson neighborhood, and it was always a good day when I got to the Johnson Public House for coffee, and there were still Level 5 donuts left, because they don't last long.
No, they don't.
No. So for folks who haven't yet had the pleasure of digging into a Level 5 donut, what are y'all known for?
I think that we're known for kind of making a dessert on a donut, and our flavors are very thoughtful. You know, you can still get the vanilla and chocolate, but we have a good time making up different fun things. We do a mango con chile that is one of our favorites, but there's also birthday cake where we literally make birthday cake and put it on the donut. And we like to showcase a lot of fun flavors and good quality.
Heck yeah. Are you aware that you have a cult following? And how did you earn that status?
We are aware because of the best way of contact is through our Instagram. So we're very personable because we are the Instagram. So we are aware because a lot of people reach out and they say, thank you, or I got this today and I really loved it. You know, there's a lot of awesome positive feedback. But I think it started because it is so difficult to kind of get your hands on them that in the very beginning, it was just my husband and I. So we can only make so much. So we couldn't keep up with the demand. So I think it was sort of a fear of missing out situation, or just wanting to share with friends and family too. So being on the ground floor. I know a lot of people have been with us since the beginning, and we've kind of helped them through the pandemic because coffee shops were the only thing open, and they would go to get a donut and a coffee as the kind of their comfort,
100%. Yeah.
So I think we've all just kind of grown together, and then word of mouth and new people and new friends. And I think it's just kind of been a together situation.
Yeah. And how does it feel to be the leader of a donut cult? When's the documentary dropping?
Well, hopefully nothing crazy happens. Like,
No, we'd love it. Yeah. So you're the head baker. So let's talk about the donuts themselves more. You're known for some of your holiday themed flavors. Like you just did an Easter box, for instance, at the risk of making myself terribly hungry for the rest of this interview. Can you tell us about those and your themed boxes?
so our themed boxes were our way of doing awesome, fun flavors that we've had in our heads for a while without having a pastry case. So we've been doing wholesale this whole time, and packaging and delivering, you kind of have to narrow it in on things that can't be too sticky or glazes that set well so that they can move and travel. So in order to kind of showcase what we could do, we decided we were going to start with pop-up boxes for holidays. It was sort of like a set date situation, you know, for us and for the public. Like, keep an eye out for holiday boxes, and we'll do that. It kind of started because I love Halloween, and I was like, we have to do a Halloween box, and that's kind of how it got kicked off. But it was
Spooky town.
Exactly. It was so well received that we just kind of started doing it for major holidays as well. Because like I said, it was a good way to give people flavors they haven't had before, and also be able to kind of reach out to the community a little bit more personal. And they sell out really fast too, though. So it's hard to kind of keep up with that. But it was more to showcase things that we wanted to be doing and what we want to put into a case, essentially,
Yeah.
you know?
I can just see in your face, you're like inventive. Like you're like thinking about it and all the things you want to experiment with. Do you have any wild flavors that you're experimenting with these days or like dying to try out?
So I'm trying not to go too weird. I always have to bring it in because I come from a pastry chef kind of situation as well, other than bakeries. So I'm always like, ooh, rhubarb and peas. That would be interesting. Like some pea tendrils on a rhubarb, or like a rhubarb strawberry glaze with pea tendrils. Like that's weird, but I think it would be delicious. So I try not to go too weird. We did like a miso caramel on a chocolate donut. It was really good, but it's hard to convince people sometimes. Like I always tell people, like, well, have you had a bad donut from us yet? We wouldn't serve it if we weren't sure it tastes good.
Right.
I really want to do like a curry coconut cashew kind of situation.
Please.
But that's a great thing about being able to have a case is I can just do 12, you know, and see how it's received. And if people aren't too about it, then I only made 12. It's fine. As opposed to, this is the flavor of the week, because we do 3 flavors, vanilla, chocolate, and the flavor of the week. So having our wholesalers have to commit to a weird flavor like that is asking a lot, you know?
But I do appreciate your point. Just like, we're actually experts at this. As you said, like you attended the French pastry school in Chicago. So, you know, you've got the chops to both know what the classics are and also try something new, maybe masterfully.
For sure. And it helps too that Erin's savory because we have little bagel bites in the case. So it's a savory option. It's cream cheese filling with chives and roasted garlic, and then it's dipped in everything bagel seasoning. So like that's I can cook, but he can cook better.
I was going to ask you about savory options because I am that girl. Like, I want both.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Hopefully, once we get moving and get comfortable, we want to try and get like a donut breakfast sandwich on the menu. So like a non-glazed with a hash brown patty and a sausage and some tofu scramble. Like, we definitely want to expand a little bit more into savory with what we can, but we got to get this move in and comfortable and make sure everything's working properly before we throw more stuff into it.
Yes. And I said I wanted to get hungry at the top of the episode, so I did kind of bury the lead here. You got big news that you just opened your very first storefront on Atwood.
Yes! It's so awesome. It's so awesome. And the community around us and everything, I mean, everyone has been amazing since the beginning, between like Giovanni at Bar Corallini letting us use the basement during the pandemic at like very low rent, and my old boss at Batch, she sold us a delivery van in like Fortune Favors reaching out and asking us if we had any use for the space. It's just like the community and everyone who has like pitched in as well. It's just been overwhelming, and the love has just, it hurts. It's been so wonderful. And the community and everyone, like I said, being with us from the beginning and, sticking it out and waiting in the festival lines, and just the love that we've received has been incredible and very heartfelt.
It's a gorgeous thing to hear, to hear small businesses supporting each other like that and allowing you to grow to be the sort of business you want, like from each stage, it sounds like.
Yeah. And that's also, we really wanted to do this on our own the best we could in terms of like finances and things like that. But that's not saying that we haven't had help all along the way. It's just, we wanted financially to be able to do this, and we had to do it in building blocks to make it happen.
And you mentioned Fortune Favors. That's the shop that you took over, the Candied Nut Company, and their lease.
Yes. They are also selling their canned nuts out of the space with us. So when you come in, there's our case and our space up front. And then to the right, there's shelving with their product as well. So we've been helping each other out in terms of that, because they don't need the whole space, but they do need some sort of storefront in that location because people are so used to it,
Okay, sure.
Holidays especially, they sell out of there like crazy, and they've been there forever. So they want to still keep some sort of presence without, spending too much money on a space that they're using a quarter of.
No, I love that. I love that so much, because I'm definitely one of those people too. Like, people moved into Madison and they leave, but they come back and they want to go to their spots,
Exactly. Yeah.
So how was that connection made between you and Fortune Favors?
We were at a festival, and Jess, one of the owners, was in line because she loves our donuts and she's amazing. And she just kind of like handed me her card and was like, we're a small business too. If you need any help or guidance or anything, like, here's my number, let me know. Because again, like I said, people just willing to help. And so with that, I decided I would like to put their nuts on donuts because their nuts are delicious. And
brilliant meld.
Obviously, they need to be together. So I called in a wholesale order, and I went to pick it up from the space. And she had just kind of mentioned they were moving to their Cottage Grove production space. Like, we don't need all this room. And I said, I would love to take it off of your hands whenever you're ready. Because we had already signed the lease for our Main Street Industries space. And we had a 5-year lease here. So it was like, whenever you're ready, I'll be ready and it'll be fine. And then I don't even know the timeline because it was all such a blur and such a disbelief, because it was like, why would you want to help us out? It was just unbelievable, I suppose. I'm like, you have this wonderful storefront and this wonderful building. They rent as well, but they went through the steps to talk with the landlord and make sure it was okay. And, the contacts being made, and they pushed forward so that we could have that space rather than putting it out in realty where other people had a chance for it, because they knew they didn't want it. But it was just like, I think you guys should have a donut shop here. So let's make this happen. And it's just like, well, okay.
It sounds like some magic was happening,
right?
Yeah.
I know.
Somebody's little magic fairy was looking out and said, this shall be.
Yes.
And she was part of it to make it happen. Yeah.
We've had a lot of magic fairies in this whole process. And yeah, it was very surreal when we actually all sat down and were like, so this is what we're doing, right? I think
you mean it.
Yeah, exactly.
Forever.
Yes. I think Aaron needed like 4 meetings of them saying, yes, we will be taking this space over, before he even believed it. There were many car rides where it was just like, what? We're taking over this space. I don't understand. Well, I need a yes. You got a yes last week? It was just very surreal and unbelievable, because I don't know, being in business and kitchens for so long, people step over you to get to where they want to go. It's different for everyone to uplift each other. Because we were in a very competitive world of chefs. And then we moved into a small business, and it was just like, no, you need help? I got you. Do you need me to order some product for you? No problem. Just pay me for it. It's a very inviting, loving community where we're all here for each other because we're all in it together.
Are you ready to cement your reputation as the best gift giver this Mother's Day? Why not give the moms in your life an Aura digital picture frame with preloaded family photos? There are a million reasons to love Aura frames, but let me just share a few. Aura Frames was named the best digital photo frame by Wirecutter, and it's easy to see why. There's unlimited storage, so you can add as many photos, videos, and funny memes as your heart's desire. Plus, photos look like real prints with meticulously calibrated high resolution. And it's so simple to set up. Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day. For a limited time, listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off, plus free shipping on their best-selling Carver matte frame. That's AURA frames.com. Promo code CityCast. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply.
My cat Freddie loves to be brushed and cuddled. But stirring up his cat allergens meant sneezing and itchy eyes. Then I found Purina One Live Clear. It's cat food that reduced the major allergen and my suffering in as little as 21 days. Now, we feel closer than ever. If you have issues with cat allergens, you really need to try Purina One Live Clear.
Try new Purina One Live Clear today. Purina One, a difference from day one.
Can you talk about just logistically, will there be any changes with this move? Like, can I still get your donuts from coffee shops around town? Are you still doing theme box pre-orders? Like, what can people expect from this change for y'all?
So this is all conversations that Aaron and I have had together probably a zillion times.
Yeah.
Because we also aren't quite sure. If we would like to have our wholesale accounts back, we would need a delivery driver because obviously it's the employment of the situation, right? So if we have a storefront, we have to stock that storefront. So someone has to stay. So someone else has to leave. So it's more about like finding employees and things like that to make the pieces all work. And if we were going to fulfill the wholesale orders, it would be very minimal. So they would probably sell out even more and the flavors would be less. So if you want, a mixed berry cheesecake, you're going to have to come into the store, which is in a very lovely location and easily accessible. But I understand that people also, they go get their coffee and their donut and that's their routine. And that's what it's in their neighborhood. We've been taking all the factors in. It's just the fact that we have to have the people in place to make those options available. To start, we are only going to be offering what's at our storefront.
People are going to have to come to you.
I know.
You have the right to evolve.
Of course. Of course.
They're like, no, Bianca, don't say that. No, of course.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people mad at you.
Yeah.
You should be talking them
I'll
into...
take the stance. I'm standing my ground. No.
Yeah. We do custom boxes on our website. So if you have a birthday or a larger order, we're going to pause that for the next 2 months just so we can kind of focus on the volume that we're doing now and make sure that the product is where we want it to be in this high volume. Because we haven't done this many donuts before. So there's going to be some growing pains and changes. And I would rather focus on getting the case filled and people to come in and have that be steady and then slowly add things on rather than just taking everything and failing,
Right. You're being realistic.
For sure. Yeah. And I want to make everyone happy. Obviously, I'm a Midwestern person, but I can't.
It can't be done. It can't be done. But all in the name of a good cause and moving towards where you want to be.
Of course. And we're still going to do holiday boxes. We're going to take a limited amount. So I think we're going to cap it at like 50, but you will still be able to get those flavors out of the case. So there's going to be limited amounts in the case as well. So if you missed the whole 6-pack of the box, you can still come in and then you can kind of like pick and choose too. Like, ooh, that peanut butter egg looked really good. I'm going to go in and get 4 more,
Yeah. I just pictured a group of morning zombies with their coffees all coming to your storefront, like from all over the city because they're like, we need that level 5 donut.
Well, hopefully not zombies. You can't come in if you're a zombie, but
No, okay, yeah. Like actual zombies are not allowed. Fair enough. Gotta draw the line.
unless you're dressed up for the Halloween party that we're going to have, then you can come in. But I think we were planning on doing like a percentage off if you come in a costume. So
Oh, fun.
then you're welcome.
That is so fun. I want to ask, when you moved to Madison, was the plan always to dive into donuts specifically?
No, because we knew we wanted to do our own thing after the biscuit truck in Walla Walla. But biscuits, we didn't have a kitchen to work out of, and biscuits just wasn't an option. So I had a pretty good donut recipe already and just kind of flipped it and veganized it. And they turned out really good. So we brought them to the owners of JPH, just like a couple, and asked, because we had known them, we lived in Madison before. So Aaron opened up AOK, and they were the owners of the AOK diner in the Courtyard Rabinia space when they first opened. And so we had already known them, and we were just like, coffee, donuts, this makes sense, right?
Perfect marriage.
If you want to sell them, we'll make them. So I think we started just like on the weekends doing 12 at a time in our kitchen on cottage law. And just like, it just kind of snowballed from there. We had more opportunities open up here and there. I think after we did Femstival in 2019, and after that, things got a little crazy. Then we started getting phone calls from other coffee shops asking us if we could supply to them. And like, we're still out of our kitchen at home. So it was like, you can have 12.
When something is good in Madison, like word spreads fast.
Yeah, I've noticed because it was one festival. It was the first year of that festival as well. I think it was like the second. It was a brand new Femstival. Was like just kind of getting on its feet. And a friend of mine at Batch was like, hey, I have a friend doing this. You should definitely sign up. And then it just was just like, and then the pandemic happened. So it was like a big pop. And then everything kind of stopped for a second. The whole world stopped for a second. And then it like, the doors just kind of like slowly opened up. More and more coffee shops reached out and just went from there. All of it just kind of kept happening. You know, it wasn't like this was the plan. This was the plan. It was just like, well, this is the opportunity. So let's take it and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. And you were open to it. You know, it could be said, an argument could be made before y'all arrived and started your donut business, that there was a donut-sized hole in Madison for where donuts should be.
That's funny.
Of course, Greenbush Bakery has been around for nearly 30 years.
Oh,
They're
forever,
fantastic.
yeah.
We love them. And then there's spots like Bloom Bakery, Zippy Lube, or like Bassett Street Brunch Club that do donuts alongside their offerings. But did you see that there was a hole in our heart and set out to fill it? I mean, I heard that it just kind of happened, but did you notice that?
I mean, not really, no, because we're vegan also. Like, it's not just the donut. We also, these are our this is how we feel.
Yeah.
So exactly. So we didn't jump into it to be like, oh, we could totally sell vegan donuts. It was like, we jumped into it because we were sick of cutting up dead animals and cracking 1,000 eggs and wanted to find an avenue that we could still be sort of activists about the whole thing and still have awareness, but not like shoving it down your throat, you know? I didn't mean that.
Not literally. Oh my gosh. No, I love it. It's like, that's what was happening 100%.
Yeah.
So
it was just like coffee and donuts. This makes sense. And then the research happened after, you know, trying to figure out pricing and things like that. Well, okay, how much does Greenbush sell this for? But you have to keep in mind, Greenbush has a machine and I'm rolling these out and cutting them by hand, you know? So it's like, they also have, I mean, not now because eggs are very expensive, but the pricing for their products is way less than vegan ingredients. So, I mean, there's comparisons here and there, but nothing like, oh man, there's only one donut shop. I've fixed this. It was just donuts and coffee. This makes sense. This is a good donut. Let's do that. And then learning about all the other shops just kind of came with the territory, you know?
right. When it works, there's nothing to, don't mess with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when Zippy Lube opened, the gentleman I worked with was like, hey, did you hear about the new donut shop that's opening up? And I was like, that's fine, man. Like,
Right.
I'm not in competition. We all do it different, you know? Bloom has gluten-frees and Greenbush has the staple donut, and Zippy Lube has the fresh stuff. You get to watch them go through. Like, everybody has their own. It depends on what kind of donut you're looking for. Quick Trip has donuts, you know?
Right.
It's what you're into.
Yeah, and it's just like the larger city you go to, it's just like you have dozens and like it's fine. Like, we have space for more. Like,
For
there's
sure.
plenty of space, and it's just like, oh, I'm having a taste for this. You know, I'm gonna go to this place for this reason. Caitlin, before we let you go, what are you most excited about with this new space?
I am most excited to do what I want.
Boom.
Well, because like I don't have a boss anymore, you know, we have our own business. I'm the boss. And now I have a pastry case that I can put in whatever I want. If I want to do a curry coconut donut, I can do a curry coconut donut. If we want to put a whole brownie on it, we can put a whole brownie on it. You know, it's I can cover it in caramel. I'm so excited for the liberation of like having my own case. If I want to make Danish, I can make Danish. I just put it in there. Who cares? Like, oh, you missed the Danish today? I'm sorry. It was Danish today. You know, I'm very excited to be able to just kind of go wild and have Halloween parties and have an Easter bunny in there. You know what I mean? Like, I'm excited to do what I want. If I feel like this is what I want to do today, I can do it, you know? Obviously, no harm to any animals and no harm to people's feelings. I'm going to do what I would like to do with the thought of everyone in mind.
Wow, such an ethical boss lady, Caitlin. Liberate them donuts. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was great talking to you.
It was great talking with you, and we're super excited. Congratulations, and best of luck.
Thank you. We can't wait to see you guys. We're open Wednesday through Sunday, so come in, say hi. I'm sorry when we sell out, but we'll be there again.
That's Caitlin Rocky, Level 5 Donuts head chef and co-owner. And special shout out to Harrison, Caitlin and Aaron's son, who played a big hand in this transition for the company. You go, Harrison! That's all for today. Here on CityCast Madison, I'm Bianca Martin, your host. If you enjoyed the show, why not share this episode with the biggest sweet tooth in your life? And before we go, I want to remind you that all this week you can get 10% off any Eat Street order with the code MOM2025 in honor of Mother's Day this weekend. That's through May 11th, so go get your mom something sweet. All right, we'll be back tomorrow morning with more stories from around the city. Until then, eat well.